Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby, bringing you a new 7.5 map, Serene Coast. I'm playing this map with some viewers of the live stream. We explored the map together and at the end we had a bit of a game. But enough of that, and let's take a look at this absolutely beautiful map that Wargaming have offered us. We can see there's a train track running straight down the middle, which creates a very nice ridgeline that divides the map almost in half, so that even though when you go over some of the undulations you can still get shots over from one side to the other, you're very much protected. The east and the west is very much divided. However, the west side, as I will show later, has got a very large hill which allows shots to go over, and equally the east side has got an island which you see coming up here on the right. So just on my left here you see a small town which allows some close quarters combat and also a little bit of arty cover. Here you can see that this island is approachable from the people who spawn at the north. It's got quite a nice undulation and a rock here, so you can hide very well from artillery and use the bushes to get flanking shots on anyone who decides to go down the east-hand side of the railway. There's also a church to fall back even further to if you need. And there's also a sneaky way out round the back, so you're not completely stuck in with the bridge. So Wargaming seem to have really gone to town with the details of this map. Look at the very nice backdrops. Although they do cause a little bit more frame rate loss. So here we can see the northern base spawn. There's an interesting ledge here which has got two bushes, which looks like this could be a camping spot for tank destroyers and the such, when you have to fall back to base. So this area here has very good artillery cover, and it's sort of a last ditch attempt that you can try and hold on to base with. So now we're going to explore the other side of the train tracks, which, as I said earlier, really divides the map in two and allows two separate pushing battles to effectively go on. So this map really seems to have an interesting balance between cover and having to pass between your cover spots where you'll be vulnerable to fire. Here we see a typical example. We had great cover behind the rocks and the mounds, and now we have to decide to either go up onto the hill or try and push forward to make the next series of rocks. So this train track really divides the map in half. And here we see the hill coming up that allows the team from the south to get an advantage point over the map. However, it's quite vulnerable to fire, apart from there's a slight ridge line on it, as I will show you. So there's quite a few bushes up here, so that you can use those to try and keep your camo rating high. As you can see here, there's a slight lip, which should prove useful to tanks that like to go hull down with great turret armor. It'll be very interesting to see how this map plays out on release, with the south team having access to a very useful hill and the north team having access to the island to effectively lock down the east pass. In my opinion, I think it will be very much trying to hold the hill or the lighthouse with as few tanks as possible, and then try and spearhead an attack on the opposite flank. So here we can see how open it is. If the south team was to win the hill to try and push into their base, they only get cover from the trains. So that kind of cover to cover warfare that will go on this map will be very interesting. either side of that mound, it's literally going to be a shooting gallery until you can reach cover on the other side. So here we can see the rather interesting spawn, which has a rear entrance into it, just like the other map where you could enter from behind using the island. This one has an area behind which you can use to gain vantage points on the enemy, maybe spot. Be very interesting for scouts and medium tanks, this place, if they're able to sneak in. And here on the right we see a probable RT hiding location. Looking at it from this angle, tanks with high view range that make it to the island should be able to spot artillery that get here. And as we can see there, this hill provides quite a lot of cover for tanks which try to sneak along this east corridor into the opposite base. Personally, I think I would be more inclined if I've spawned at the south base to use the east corridor. And if I've spawned at the north base, I'll probably use the hill located at B4 and the rocks there to try and lock down the west. That's my initial idea of how I would play this map. However, I use the island as a medium tank in my M48 to great effect. You're able to snipe really heavily on anyone who's approaching down the east corridor. So I hope you liked the first look at this map, guys. It's a beautiful map and it's going to be very interesting to play out tactically. I'm really looking forward to playing this map at release, and I think Wargaming have done a fantastic job with all 3 of the new maps. But what do you think, guys? Why don't you leave some comments below and we can get a good discussion as to how we think this map will play out on release. So thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you want to see more 7.5 content, either check out my other videos or think about seeing my Twitch TV account, which has recordings of all the live streams that I did on the 7.5 test server with commentary from the audience. So if this video has been useful to you, please rate it at the bottom, and if you've agreed or disagreed with anything I've said, then feel free to leave a comment. And if you feel so inclined and you've liked this content enough, then think about subscribing so that you can see my future content.